Let's talk about Gilbert Burns, man. I mean, for years, this dude was one of the scariest guys at 170. Like, seriously, a legit top 5 mainstay. People respect him for his explosiveness, his ridiculous jiu-jitsu, even though, funny enough, he rarely leaned on it, and his overall killer mentality. You can argue that a lot of guys in that division straight up avoided fighting him. He was a risk that nobody wanted. And we're not talking about hypotheticals here. The resume speaks for itself. He stunned Kamaru Usman in the first round of their title fight. He 30-27 Jorge Masvidal with ease. He flatlined Damian Maia. And let's not forget, he gave Hamza Chimaev his toughest fight to date. If you're telling me that Gilbert Burns wasn't a marauder, a certified killer in that division, you're lying to yourself. But here's the reality. Age, injuries, and wear and tear. That stuff doesn't care who you are. And Burns has been in there with the best. You go to war with dudes like Usman, Chimaev, Bilal, and JDM, and the mileage starts to show. Now, let's be fair. This isn't a case of Gilbert Burns falling off against nobodies. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, yeah, but look who he's been up against. He got outstruck and outpaced by Bilal Muhammad, and he had a competitive scrap with JDM, but he got caught and TKO'd in brutal fashion. Then most recently, he got outworked by Sean Brady, a guy who's rising fast and has the grappling pedigree to neutralize someone like Burns. So what's the UFC thinking right now? Let's be real, they see Gilbert Burns as a faded name with just enough shine left to pass the torch. He's not the future anymore, he's the gatekeeper. And what do they do with those type of guys? They throw them to the next hungry prospect. And that brings us to Michael Morales. Because Morales is young, undefeated, strong as hell, and he's built like a future contender. So yeah, the UFC is giving him that vet test. And the test is Gilbert Burns. Not because they think Gilbert Burns is going to make another run, but because they're hoping Morales finishes the job and walks away with name value. Now, do I blame the UFC? Nah, not really. It's just business. And honestly, it's on Gilbert now to either prove that he's still got enough fire left to fend off the next generation or watch them use him as a stepping stone. And let me say this, man. Michael Morales is scary because he's freaking good, man. Like, really good. This kid's still only 25 years old and he's already 17-0. And it's not like he's padding his record with cans either. Out of those 17 wins, 12 are knockouts. That's real power at welterweight. And the craziest part, he's just now starting to find his stride. Because physically, he's a freak. He's got a 79-inch reach. That's John Jones type of reach for a 170-pounder. And he knows how to use it. He keeps guys at a distance, pops a jab, and when he closes the gap, it's clean, technical, and violent. He's not one of those dudes who just throws bombs. Morales is patient. He waits for his openings. And when he finds it, it's lights out. I mean, let's talk about the Neil Magny fight real quick. That was a real vet test, right? And Morales passed it with flying colors, finishing Magny in the first round. He didn't rush it, didn't get sloppy, just walked him down, stayed composed, and when he saw Magny slowing up, he cracked him. That was a big moment because Magny might not be a real challenger anymore, but he's still a real test for a lot of the up-and-comers, and Morales made him look like he didn't even belong. And I mean, before that, he fought Jake Matthews, and that was one of the most technical clinics. He didn't get the finish, but he showed off his ability to control the pace, manage distance, and just be more composed in every exchange. He looked like a guy who was already thinking 3 steps ahead, not just out there swinging. It's scary to see that kind of maturity in someone this early in their career. He's not just a striker either, dude's got a wrestling background. He doesn't rely on it much because his hands are that damn good. But it's there in the clinch, in scrambles, in the way he defends takedowns, and now he's going up against a guy like Gilbert Burns, a former title contender with world-class jiu-jitsu and fight-ending power, and you can tell that the UFC is hoping Morales runs through him. And honestly, he might. This is a passing of the torch type of fight. Morales has everything you look in a future title challenger, the physical tools, the IQ, and now the resume is catching up. If he gets past Gilbert Burns, especially in dominant fashion, he's going to be a real problem for the division. Because like I mentioned earlier, Michael Morales is good, man. He's got physical tools. We're talking about a long 79-inch reach, clean striking, and that kind of composure you don't usually see in someone that young. But more importantly, he's the kind of guy that presents the exact problems for fighters like Gilbert Burns, especially where Gilbert Burns is at right now in his career. Let's start with the obvious. Gilbert has a hard time dealing with rangy strikers who manage distance well. He's explosive, sure, but he's built more like a fire hydrant. Shorter, compact, and he has to close the gap to do damage. That was a big part of his issue against Bilal Muhammad. Bilal kept it at range, used movement and volume, and Gilbert couldn't find the target consistently. Morales, he's not only longer, he's cleaner. He doesn't waste movement. He picks his shots, throws sharp straight punches, and he knows how to fight behind the jab. That's gonna frustrate a guy like Gilbert, who's already struggling when he's forced to chase. Then there's the wear and tear. Gilbert's a warrior, no doubt about it, but 3 fights in a row where he took damage, that stuff starts to add up. Morales is a sniper. He's not wild, he doesn't brawl, he'll find the chin if you give him an opening. And the truth is, Burns has shown lately that his defense isn't holding up as well as it used to. In that JDM fight, he got clipped. When Sean Brady, he got out-grappled and he faded in the later rounds. And against Bilal, he couldn't even let his hands go because of his shoulder injury. If Morales keeps a high pace and targets that lead side early, it could snowball quick. Another thing that people are sleeping on is Gilbert Burns' entry. It can be very telegraphed when he goes for a big overhand or just tries to shoot for a takedown. It's explosive, but you can see it coming. He explodes in straight lines, and against slower or smaller fighters, he gets away with that. But Morales, he's got fast hands, solid footwork, and knows how to circle off and counter. If Gilbert shoots lazy or loads up too obvious, there's a real chance Morales can counter and do some serious damage. And yeah, even if Gilbert tries to turn this into a grappling match, it's not guaranteed success. Morales isn't easy to hold down. He's strong, calm in scrambles, and he doesn't panic. Jake Matthew tried to drag him into that type of fight and couldn't get much done. So if Gilbert shoots and doesn't land clean, he's gonna burn some energy trying to reset while Morales keeps picking him apart. With all that being said, this is a dangerous fight for Gilbert Burns. Not because he's just falling off completely, but because this is just a bad stylistic matchup at this point in his career where he can't afford too many more of those losses. Morales has the tools, the momentum, and the exact skill set to make this a rough night for the veteran. Now, look, I'm not saying that Gilbert Burns has no shot in this fight. The dude's still dangerous, he's still got a legit knockout power, and has world-class jiu-jitsu, and a ton of experience fighting the best of the best. If he can get inside early, close the distance, and turn this into a gritty, physical fight, he can absolutely make Morales uncomfortable. If he catches Morales clean with one of those explosive overhands or times a takedown and gets on top, we could be looking at a momentum shift real quick. And let's not forget, Burns has heart. He's not gonna just lay down for the new guy. He might come in with that mindset of this is do or die, and maybe that alone can make a dangerous fighter. Maybe he mixes it up, uses feints, gets creative, and drags Morales into deeper water. But, and yeah, there's a but, do I think it's likely? Honestly, not really. I just don't really see him being able to consistently get inside without eating damage. Morales is too young, too fresh, too smart on the feet, and the pace Gilbert would need to win this fight, I'm not sure his body can keep up with that for 5 rounds anymore. If this was Gilbert Burns from a few years ago, that's a whole different story. But right now, with the way Morales is trending and the way that Gilbert Burns has been looking like in his last few fights, I think the writing is on the wall. And honestly, if Gilbert loses his fight, and especially if it's decisive or brutal, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time we see him in the octagon. Look, Gilbert Burns is a dog. Always has been. He's never backed down from a challenge, never been afraid to take a tough fight, and he fought anyone the UFC put in front of him. Title contenders, rising killers, legends, he's fought them all. He's earned respect, but at a certain point, you gotta ask yourself, what's left? We're talking about a guy who's 37 years old now, been through wars, and isn't just losing fights, he's taking damage. That JDM fight, he got slept. That Sean Brady fight, he got out-hustled and controlled. And now if Morales goes out there and beats him clean, that's 4 straight losses. And not just to the top 5 guys. That's to young, hungry dudes trying to make a name off him. That stinks. And it's not like Gilbert's some mid-tier guy trying to climb the rankings. He's already been to the top. He fought for the title. He rocked Kamaru Usman. He headlined events, got bonuses. He's a name. So you start thinking, what's the motivation now? Is it worth going through another training camp, risking another injury, going through another cut just to fight some 25-year-old prospect who's looking to retire you? And real talk, Gilbert's not just a fighter. He's got a family. He's got a great gym. He's a coach, a mentor, a respectable figure in the MMA world. He could walk away right now and still have legacy, still have his health, still have a future in the sport, just in a different role. You know how many fighters wish they can go out there before the game retires them? And I believe Gilbert's smart enough to know that timing matters. Now, do I think he's going to announce his retirement in the cage? Maybe, maybe not. But if he gets dominated by Morales, if it looks like the gap between the generation is too wide, I could see him having that convo with his team. And it's not a sad ending, it's just the end of a chapter. Gilbert will always be a savage in the minds of the fans. Nobody's erasing what he did to guys like Damian Maya, Wonderboy, Masvidal, and even pushed Hamza to his limit when nobody else could. He earned his stripes, but if Morales goes in there and puts on a clinic, and I think he might, don't be shocked if Gilbert takes those gloves off and leaves them in the octagon. And honestly, that'd be a classy way to go out.